Okay. All right. So we are live in a little bit. So I guess just to take the night away, this is going to be the last episode for this project. So in a little bit, I'll have Poetry speak more about this project. I know what's going to be in this episode and the last episode. So Poetry, if you are ready, you can introduce the series and also tonight's episode that we'll be watching.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Good morning in the Philippines and somewhere else, and good afternoon. It's it's so beautiful that the world is your stage this time. So this afternoon, tonight, this morning, you're going to join us to travel through the boat Rinayong. Rinayong is the magical boat of Bantugan, the hero of Darangin, which is one of the longest epic in the Philippines and still mostly in oral tradition. So we choose Rinayong because it's magical. It can expand, it can shrink, it can fly, it can become a submarine, or it can roll in the road. So it represents the resilience of us, people in diaspora. And tonight, we are going to bring you to that experience, and through the, you know, Queens is become became so popular in the universe because it became the epicenter of the epicenter since March 2020. That's what is in the newspaper, the epicenter of the epicenter. Yeah, we will claim that it was an epicenter of the positive of COVID-19, but actually the truth, it's really positive and the epicenter of culture and tradition that makes us very very diverse, yet very resilient, and bringing us into the experience where culture and tradition that has been there centuries and centuries ago, and now it is in Queens as it is carried by Rinayong, carried by us, the emigrant, the people in diaspora. So we have with us tonight um, Amalia, who is from Saong Budaya. She's the founder and artistic director of Saong Budaya. She will bring you stories from the different islands of Indonesia through her dance. She'll bring you two dances, but that would represent how beautiful and diverse Indonesia itself with its experience. And also, it can relate to what was Indonesia before and Philippines before our similarities and the similarities of our stories. And we have our board of director, the attorney Maria Lara Gregory. Lara is actually from the epicenter. She's from Queens. And also, she's serving people who are coming to the epicenter. In other words, she specialized on immigration as a lawyer. However, you can ask her questions about what is going on now in at the epicenter. For example, what happened during the epicenter when I don't have employment, or what will happen if I can't pay my house rent. And there are more questions that can entertain you. You can visit her in her Facebook. Uh, she has a Facebook, Lara Gregory, and she will entertain your question and
Legal
bring
good.
you the enlightenment. Oh, the legal good. That's the name um, of her life at the epicenter. Meanwhile, she's joining us tonight in this Rinayong because she's part of it. and she will tell you more about her and how she is actually part of the boat called Rinayong. And we have Steven Raga. Steven Raga, I know him since high school, I think. So ask me about Steven. I'll tell you. And Steven is a very active. She was a very active youth, and of course, up to now, he is a very active person who actually is with the with the state representative um, Brian Barnwell, who is also very supportive with Kinding Sindaw. But and Steve is in the epicenter, of course, and he will tell you how the epicenter became actually a ground that has its power because of the diasporic culture and tradition. And also, Steve, because he grew up at the epicenter, he will navigate us how the epicenter grow and how it will continue to be resilient with of course with Steve. He has the vision of how we're gonna work it out. So, and Vivian, we're gonna stand by because these three beautiful people will bring you that energy, inspiration, and motivation of being at the epicenter, which is New York, and the epicenter of epicenter, which is Queens. So, thank you. Take it away, Vivian.
All right, thank you, Potri. So for tonight's video, it was a film directed and edited by Jamila. So she will be telling you a little bit more about tonight's video and a little bit more about behind the scenes or what her experience was. So Jamila, if you would like to speak a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, first, before I proceed, I would like to greet everyone. Magandang araw, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Good morning, good evening in Ilocano because my parents, my mom in particular, is from Dingras, Ilocos Norte. So to my relatives and friends watching, naimbag nga rabii yo amin apo. And also to my friends and family in Saudi Arabia watching because I'm born and raised in Saudi Arabia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To my Japanese and Korean friends, minasan, konnichiwa, yorobun, annyeong hashimnika, and to my Tibetan friends, samala tashidale. My name is Jamila Rose del Prado Leneses. I am a Kinding Sindaw member. I am also a Filipino filmmaker supported by the Directors Guild of America and the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers as a foreign film director in the United States. So, also at the same time, I am the director of photography, one of the producers, editor, performer as a martial artist and dancer in this 5 episodic Rinayung series. The challenges that we face while doing this project is that given that we had like very limited time to prepare and also as a filmmaker and performer at the same time, it was very challenging for me. It was something that I have not done before. My work focuses on TV commercials, advertisements, wedding films, short films, music videos, documentaries. But this is something that I've never done before. I truly believe that this is something very special to me. And being from a region in the Philippines that's not from Mindanao, my parents are from Luzon. As I mentioned, my mom is from the north, and then my father is from Poblacion, Oriental Mindoro, Puerto Galera. So there are a lot of things like being born and raised in Saudi Arabia and not from Mindanao. There are a lot of things that I did not know about my culture, and it's only through Kinding Sindao that I learned so much that is also part of my culture as a Filipino, as a heritage and other oral traditions. So without further ado, I will be playing the final episode of the Renayung series. Let's go. Here we go.
Good afternoon, Queens, New York City, particularly Jackson Heights, New York City. We're here in this Saong Budaya studio, and we'll try to capture what happened, what happened to the culture bearers, what happened to our culture and tradition that was brought here from far, far away home after or during COVID-19, and now it's phase 2 COVID-19. And that's why they said it's phase 2 COVID-19 open. However, we're still wearing masks. And this afternoon, we'd like to see and feel the dance world, the traditional dance world, and our stories. So with me today is Amalia Soriani. Amalia, can you kindly tell Queens and the world who you are?
Hello, Queens community. My name is Amalia Suryani. I'm the artistic director of Saong Budaya, the Indonesian dance company that's based in Long Island City. I'm glad that I can be part of this coalition with Philippine group, with Nepali group, with Indian group, showing that we're here together. We getting strong during the COVID. We still preserving our culture.
So, Amalia, you and I came from far, far away home, where there are a lot of islands. And we came here to America, particularly New York, and we brought our culture and tradition, and we carried it. Through dances, we're able to tell our story. And then this happened. This crisis happened one after another. What is this to you as a tradition bearer?
Tragedy is always happen anywhere, so we have to embrace it as an artist, especially where you actually need to keep preserving and keep doing what you like particularly dancing. It's hard, of course, especially some Budaya just have a studio. We cannot open our studio. We cannot have our group, our community together to practicing our dance together again. But I guess we still need to continue what we can do to preserving our culture, right? I think it's the same with you too.
Yes, yeah, it's we have no choice. You have to go on because if Queens has been considered as the epicenter of COVID-19, yeah, the expression of "Are you positive? Yay, COVID-19 positive!" But the truth is, myself, Amalia, and the rest that you will see today or the next upcoming episode we are positive. We're positive that Queens is the epicenter of culture and tradition. That's why Queens will thrive. Queens will forever be resilient because of the beauty of that living tradition that we carry with us, the culture and tradition. So if you continue dancing, it's not because we just dance. It's because you're bringing life. You're bringing the story. So tell us, maybe we can remove our mask a little bit. I know your dance is about the mask, so you can continue wearing your mask for now. It's the place, so we can distance more. Can you tell us what is the meaning of your dance?
Okay, so the dance that you just saw before is called Tari Blantek. Tari means dance. Blantek itself comes from the music that sounds like blunt and crack. As actually Blantek have a strong influence by Chinese culture who when Chinese people come to Indonesia and then do trading with the indigenous people. So if you see the costume, like a lot of red, a lot of yellow, it's really similar. The music as well is really similar with the Chinese dances. It's not like because we're copying it, but it's merged together. And then this particular dance is describing about the young adult, young woman who trying to embrace the world. Like they become a really friendly. They sometimes can be alluring. And then if I show the whole dance of this dance, you can see also a different character in each person. Sometimes they can be so feminine, sometimes they can be masculine. There is a changing of the emotion in that in this particular dance.
So the dance that follows that you see, it's a project of Kending Sindaw to trace the similarity of our culture and tradition, and Indonesia and Malaysia and Philippines used to be Nusantara. Yeah, used to be Doña Malay Nusantara, and we're really part of the Srivijaya Empire, and also because we are near China Sea. Yeah? We are China Sea and Pacific and Celebes. Celebes is in the Indonesia area. So our culture and tradition actually with the Indonesian are, I would not even say similar, but it's almost one because you have dudol. Among us, the Maranao, that is very spatial.
Yeah.
And we have Randang.
Yeah. I mean, because of the islands in each region have a different culture. This particular dance is come from the capital. So it's maybe, like I said before, a lot of influence from Chinese. But then later on, I'm going to show you the other dance that really similar with especially the Maranao, Maguindanao culture because of the position of the place and also
pairing. And the dance that you have seen from Kending Sindaw is called Pag-Apir-Apir or Apir-Apir. It's actually the language of the fan. We even have a chant for that. Kini ka-apir ka ikulat akan suka sa mandiroman. So it's actually part of the story Raja Mangandiri and also the Rangin, where the fan represents the magical butterfly that leads Rama and Sita or Putri Malayla Malano Ganding and Raja Mandir back to their kingdom. But the social function of that dance actually is the fan. The chant is fan, please lead me the way. This is the song of the young woman, the young maiden with dancing with the fan that point to me the right road to travel. And don't point me to the left side where a married man is there and I don't want to marry him. Something like that. All these kind of moral lessons embedded in all this tradition. Mm-hmm. And also, if you will see, it has so much Chinese influence in it. Because as I said, our position of the island is like Indonesia too, that Chinese traders cross China Sea with the boat, with the sampan. Yeah. Okay, so that is what's beautiful between our culture and tradition, and very similar. We're always at home with each other. The Malayu and heritage language, this is coming from Austronesian, is actually the same roots with whatever spoken in the islands of Indonesia. So we have so much same terminologies like dugo.
Yeah.
What is dugo?
What is dugo? I don't know. What's dugo?
Blood.
Dara.
Tawang.
We have like siku is the same. We have hidung. You say ilong, mata, sakit, right?
Tabang.
Ibu.
So
It's the same.
the dance that you did today, can you tell us more about that? Because you see, we have that plate dance too among our Yakan people. And it is believed that the DNA of the Yakan people is very connected to the Dayaks.
So this dance is from West Sumatra. Before we were in Betawi, in the capital of Indonesia. Right now it's going to Sumatra, which is like more Melayu heritage. And in this particular dance in West Sumatra is really strong influence by Muslim. I think it's also again from the trader back then. They bring their culture. A lot of Persian, a lot of Arab come to Indonesia to do the trader, and then become a merged culture. Like you see the woman wearing a headscarf covering their head, and then the costume also with the long sleeve, right? Almost similar with the Philippines, especially the Marana Maguindanao. This dance itself is about a harvest festival. This is what. So this is about a harvest festival where the farmers celebrate the harvest. The plate is symbolize their the wealth, and then also later on, I cut the dance before. There is a part when the dancers step on the plate. It's not like we're not respecting plate as a place that we usually eat from, but that's showing how narrow its rice field in the village. So that's why the dancer need to be able to balance in the plate just as symbolized, which is like it's so hard when they have to go to the there's a woman wearing the basket. They have to move tiptoe and then balancing. So the plate, we walk in the plate just to symbolize that small path in the rice field.
You mean the rice paddies?
Yeah,
the rice paddies that creates the rice, the beds that where you plant the seedlings and it grows.
Yeah, there's a small path in between them, right? So you have to walk like that. So that's what it is.
So also we have similar dance, and also we step on the plate, and almost similar actions. Some variants of the meaning, but it's always a celebration of the good harvest.
Yeah.
It's a rice-eating people always relate ourselves to celebration when the good harvest come. So, yes, Queens, this is what makes Queens resilient. The beauty and the life that we, people from other parts of the world, Indonesia, Philippines, Nepal, India, and many more. But for us, for our project in particular, we're covering these similarities where somewhere in our history we met, somewhere, and now we are in New York, we met and converts our dances as empowerment for life. And that is how we respond to COVID-19.
Yeah. In our country, we believe on unity and diversity. I think that's perfect for Queens, right? We all diverse. We all bringing a lot of community. We're different. We speak differently. We dress differently. But because we are rich in diversity, that's what unify us as a community. Hopefully, we're going to get stronger and stronger. We can do this together. We can preserving our culture, but we also can survive as a part of the community together.
And also, these are episodes that you will be watching, the beauty of Queens, New York, tomorrow. And Amalia, terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much. And
Sama-sama. Terima kasih.
we also give lessons not only to Indonesians or Filipinos, to everyone in the world. Join us. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Jam. So we got to see how the dances of Indonesia and Philippines also relate to each other from that video, and also how we're still being able to incorporate dance and culture into our daily lives, even though we're all stuck in quarantine or not physically near each other at this time. So I wanted to just introduce the speakers for tonight. We're going to open it up to Laura first. So if you would just speak a little bit how you interact with Kinding Sindaw, how you are an active member of the board of directors for Kinding Sindaw, and I guess what you do in your daily life.
Okay. Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. Before I proceed, I just wanted to recognize the hard work of our artists. Of course, Jamila, thank you so much for that beautiful video. And I've seen Jamila about a year ago when she was at an event, and I really admired the defense, the Arnis. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I really love that. It was very empowering. And I also wanted to, of course, recognize the hard work of our artistic director of Kinding Sindaw, Potri Rangka Manis, in the Rinayung series that culminate today. Potri. So when Potri asked me to be an honorary board member of Kinding Sindaw, it was really due to the lecture that I gave at the Union Theological Seminary, during which I made the following point. As diverse as New York is in culture, language, and faith, we are united in seeking the peace and prosperity of the city, the health and healing of its inhabitants, and the flourishing of our lives. I think we cannot even escape this particular truth, particularly that we are now still in the midst of a pandemic. And truly, the thread that binds all of us in faith is the concept of serving others, particularly those who are in need, the widows, the orphans, and the immigrants. And particularly the immigrants, because I think a lot of the people who live in Queens are immigrants. And I guess that's just a concept for a lot of people. But then again, even in the faith that Kinding Sindaw professes, which is the Muslim faith, the Prophet Muhammad, blessed be his name, was actually an immigrant. And it makes a lot of difference when we know that the person who people admire and respect actually understands what it means to be an immigrant. But then being immigrants is not just what we have in common. Service to the community is actually what keeps us strong. And in New York City, which is one of the most diverse cities in the world, with residents from every existent nationality, ethnicity, and religious groups, the city's Muslim population has actually been serving the city in so many areas. And these facts are reflected in the Muslims for American Progress, which came out with a report in 2018. I think it was July 2018. And the influence of groups like Kinding Sindaw on New York City is not only far reaching in the present moment, but also deeply historical. Um, Groups like Kinding Sindaw or other Muslim groups have been part of New York City since the 17th century, with the first mosque established at 1122 Broadway in 1893. Can you get that? There's been a mosque in New York City in 1893, and not just, you know, I actually learned something new today, and I just was really blown away by that fact. And there are the Muslim New Yorkers comprise more than 9% of the city's medical doctors. Yeah, that's very relevant, particularly now during a pandemic, right? And more than 12% of the state's pharmacists. Muslim doctors see over 5 million patients, and Muslim pharmacists fill close to 9.6 million prescriptions per year. And I don't know if people notice, but the Muslim doctors working in our community, they focus on serving the city's underprivileged and breaking through the stigma surrounding mental health care. Without a doubt, it is the recognized service of the Muslim community, not just in healthcare, but in every area of life in the city, and in particular, the consistent highlighting of the beautiful dances, traditions, and epic poems that has allowed the rise of official recognition of the growing Muslim population in New York City on the political level, with Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha recognized as public school holidays since 2015. Now, we cannot stop there. We need to dream more and want to achieve more, particularly for our community. And and then one of my favorite topics is actually Muslim women. And Muslim women in particular have been behind key political movements, civic engagement, activism, and advocacy, influencing both the city and nation, including the public recognition of Eid holidays in schools, and even nationally attended march in Washington and the foundation of the first Shura Council for Women in the United States. When I was studying in the University of the Philippines, I was living in an all-female student center. I live with Muslim women who became my friends and who helped elect me in the student housing government because they trusted me and were confident that I do not shy away from hard work. They went all out in supporting me. I will never forget that, and that is why I am happy to serve as honorary board member of Kinding Sindaw. And as a member of the board, I want to express our appreciation to Honorable Daniel Drom, who is the councilor for the 25th District of the City of New York, without whose unstinting support, the achievements of Kinding Sindaw would not have been reached. I can guarantee you that there is more for Kinding Sindaw to achieve, and its commitment to the traditions we live on. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. Um, and then another speaker that we have, Stephen. Just going to spotlight on him. If you want to, add on to that.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'll add on a bit. Thank you, Laura, for your comments, and of course, um, all the members of Kinding Sindaw and all our supporters that are watching. Potri mentioned earlier, yes, we are reporting from the epicenter of the epicenter, Elmhurst, Woodside, Jackson Heights. That's where much of the center of the COVID cases was earlier this spring, and our community has really done its part, followed the rules, and is really making a strong comeback. Also, I live in Woodside, so I'm in the epicenter of the Filipino community. Also, earlier, Potri mentioned just a clarification. She said we met in high school. I met her when I was in college. Okay, I know I just look like I was in high school. I still do, but actually, I found out about Kinding Sindaw when I was in college at Stony Brook. I was the president of the Filipino United Student Organization there, also the national chair of FINE, the Filipino Intercollegiate Networking Dialogue, which is the umbrella organization of Filipino American college students in the East Coast. And around that time, luckily, that's right, D3, I was an ND. That's right, Jerome. Luckily, the founder of Stony Brook, Tomas Trinidad, at the time was also a member of Kinding Sindaw. So to support Tomas, all of the students in Stony Brook, we all packed up in our cars, went on the LIE, drove all the way from Suffolk into the East Village, and really to support Tomas. We were really just trying to connect with one of our organizational founders, but we connected with a lot more. There at La Mama, we saw many of us really for the first time, dances from the Philippines that were danced the way they're supposed to. We saw instruments from the Philippines that were played the way they're supposed to. All of these Filipino Americans who in general grew up around New York were connecting with their heritage like they're supposed to. So Kinding Sindaw has always had a really good habit of being where they're needed the most. Wherever there's an opportunity to spread the culture, traditions of the Philippines, whether or not it's a Filipino event, they're always there to lift up our cultural traditions. I see that actually at my job every day. Currently, I work at state government in New York, so I interact with a lot of communities around the city. And for Filipinos in Queens, the practice of the culture of resilience that they touched on tonight, and the meshing of those cultures. I mean, Filipinos in Queens, we live in very multicultural communities. We're in Woodside, Elmhurst, Jackson Heights, Flushing, Forest Hills, Jamaica, Belrose. We're all in a melting pot wherever we settle down with our families, and so the learnings. Not only are there learnings from the dances tonight are quite timely, but it's also about time that New York City learns more about the relevance of Filipino cultural tradition. So I thank City Council member Danny Drum for his support of this important initiative. The New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Commissioner Gonzalo Casals, the Coalition of Coalitions of Theaters of Color, Suang Badaya, the people joining us on a Monday night, and of course all the members and supporters of Kinding Sindaw. It's an honor to join both you or to both join everyone here, but to also witness your valuable contribution to New York City, especially during a time where the city really needs artists the most. So thank you, and happy to be here tonight.
All right, thank you. And then I know we got to see her speak a lot in the video, but I still wanted to have her touch base a little bit more, maybe go into a little bit more about her dance organization and what they're doing currently. So Amalia, if you would like to speak a little bit about that.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to join this event. My name is Amalia Suryani. I'm the artistic director of Saung Budaya. I formed this group actually inspired by Kinding Sindaw. To be honest, when I came here, I joined the production of Kinding Sindaw in 2005, and then Potri encouraged me after that to build my own dance group, to build my own culture preserver. So since 2005, I create this song budaya with the mission of almost similar with Kinding Sindaw, not only preserving the Indonesian culture, but also to introduce, Indonesian culture to the Indonesian youth who were born here. That when I came here to
New York, especially in Queens, where a lot of Indonesian community live. A lot of a young generation, they already cannot speak Indonesian. They don't know the Indonesian culture, so that's really bring me uh, the power of creating Saung Budaya. I feel like I need to introduce the culture through something that they like and something that I know, which is the dance. Since then, Saung Budaya have been promoting Indonesian culture in and around New York through festival. Together with Kinding Sindaw, we also sometimes promoting through the library, thing like that. And then for now, since we already moved in Long Island City, uh, we try to be part of Queens community to promoting the diversity of Queens culture. And then I feel like now is the era where we need to be proud of our identity as a people of color. Like, I know we are American, but it's okay to bring up your own culture. Like, it's okay to be Indonesian American, it's okay to be Filipino American or Nepali American, thing like that. It doesn't mean like you have to forget your root. It doesn't have to be you forget the culture thing. So it's actually that's what make you different, and that's what make New York or especially Queens rich, right? Thing like that. So I think with this project that Sinding Sindaw create is really important, especially during this time. Like, we can be together because it's hard, especially in art. As an artist, it's really hard during the pandemic. We cannot really perform. I get a lot of performances that get canceled. I have a lot of festival that need get canceled as well, thing like that. So it's important to have a project online, even though online, so people still know that we are still exist, and then that we still preserving our culture, even though with the limited condition like right now.
All right,
Thank you,
thank
Vivian.
you. So I'm not sure if anyone had any questions that they wanted to ask, but if there are any questions that we're not able to ask here, you can definitely send us a message or comment on Facebook or Instagram, and then we'll shoot it over to the applicable person. We'll get you the answer in a timely manner. But I just wanted to wrap things up with having the last word said by Potri, and then that will be it for tonight.
We have 5 minutes.
Mhm.
We have 5 minutes. I will give maybe 20 seconds round for anyone who's want to say one sentence about the night show. Um, okay, while waiting for the one anybody who will raise hands, I just want to say that tonight is the culmination of this first season. We'll say it season of Rinayong, because on August 11 we will come back live through La Mama live stream, and we may be doing this every month, and you'll be featuring more about Kinding Sindaw and our relationship to the rest of Epicenter. Oh, I don't know what that word became so. It has penetrated so much that we kind of own it already. So let's stand and really work on it and empower ourselves with that. Um, that word is just a symbol of who we are as a people, and it's so beautiful that everyone is here tonight to join this event. And I see somebody's raising hands. Is there anyone who's raising hands? Amalia, the Vivian. Thank you, Amalia. Very thank you, and thank you. Oh, somebody's speaking. Okay,
Oh,
thank
I
you,
think
Lara, and thank you. Uh, Thank you, Stephen. Noni, we only have few minutes more to go.
oh wait, sorry, you're
We cannot
we
hear
can't
your
hear you.
video or audio, Noni.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Miss Lara Gangs from UP.
Yes. Uh, we have only 1 minute more to go. So we will wrap it up.
Yes, Noni.
Yeah, I was faculty of UP Diliman before I heard the one of our board. It's so nice to know that one of our board members is from UP. I've been with Kinnison since its founding in the 90s, 1992.
Okay,
And
I thought you were with Kinding Sindaw since you married Pottery.
uh,
that, that's
Kending
true.
Sindaw was founded in 1992. So,
But you know that
okay.
how I was with the Department of English and Comparative Literature, the College of Arts and Letters. And
Uh,
it's so to know that we have people in the group, we have our members of the board who
Thank you.
support. I'd like to thank also to give my thanks to all uh, the people in the meeting, you know, and our supporters. I am with I have been with Kinnison now a long time. Thank you.
I
I
guess.
write songs and
thank you, Noni.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noni.
We'll talk later, yes.
Yeah. We're going to thank. Okay. Anybody else want to say a word? And we're going to do our salutation. Can everyone be on camera so we can take a photo?
Oh, yes. Oh, wait, I
Oh,
think
I have
Christiana
a
had a
question.
question.
Christiana, you have a question?
Yes, my question is for all panelists. How often is traditional living dance the way that Indonesian Americans and Filipino Americans learning the context behind them and the diaspora immigration of Filipinos and Indonesians?
Was it
Pottery.
how often? I didn't hear the first part. I'm sorry.
So basically is how often do you find that dance, traditional dance in either Indonesian or Filipino culture, the platform in which Filipino Americans or Indonesian Americans discovering more about their cultural heritage and maybe even the social political context, their parents or grandparents' homeland?
I think art is just a distinct form and a distinct art when it I think in just a few months ago when Maria Ressa was here and she was talking about freedom and freedom of the press, and she was awarded the Time Person of the Year. And the point that people were driving at and what she was driving at the time was that what helps free press freedom and democracy is the arts. When people continue to write, when people continue to dream, when people continue to portray and look at reality and talk about it and portray it, it lives. The verifiable truth on what's happening in society right now, it lives through art. So I think, although it's not quantifiable, Christiana, it's not quantifiable how often it's portrayed or it's seen or experienced through dance, but we can see in terms of the history the impact of the presentations that have been done by Kinding Sindaw. And as we heard, it's been since 1992, and the culmination of those presentation and the continued commitment of Kunding Sindao, it brings about change and a recognition, even just in the school days, in the school holidays. It has an impact. Yeah. I will not monopolize. I will allow my other panelists to respond.
Steven, you can say something. You saw us in college and you're still with us too. Steven still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Definitely, I think it really resonates. What I see, at least from my point of view, really is how it impacts Filipino Americans or immigrants that are really searching for their culture back home. Sometimes whether it's not directly given from or given to, intergenerationally from their parents. Sometimes their parents don't even know a lot of the things that are being presented. So it really is a service that's both given to the public, but also it goes deeper when you're talking about connecting with your heritage. So we've seen it happen for decades at this point. So definitely it is amplified, the impact that Kinding Sindaw is having. So continue the great work.
Yeah.
Think
In my
Amalia wants-
experience, it's like it's not really easy. It's not really easy to get a real impact. I mean, like Steven, he experienced it. He watched it, and then that's make him realize that how important that the history, and through the dance and art, he can learn something. So that's always like that. Like if in my community, for instance, to bring the youth to learn the Indonesian culture is not an easy job. But when they already be part of us, and then that's really easy to create a community that proud about their own culture. Do you know what I mean? Like it's need a really hard work. It's not only individual job. I think like if poetry alone through Kinding Sina is gonna happen, but because people surround poetry, believe on her, so it's make it easier for her to bring the story, and then people finally realize what's happening in Maguindanao, thing like that. So yeah, that's what I feel. It's not easy, but we can do it as long as we keep doing it.
Okay, I will respond. It was not easy at all.
Yeah,
It was not easy at all because it's not easy at all. Especially the culture and tradition that Kinding Sinda was bringing is a story from people who are actually in the Philippines called the national minority, or a people that was kind of outside the mainstream of Filipinos, because Mindanao was only became part of the Philippines in 1898, and we have the bias that has been transformed by the Spaniards, transmitted by the Spaniards to generation, that people in Mindanao are bad guys. So that's one of the motivation I had to uh, you see, if you see the mission of Kinisao is to assert, reclaim, preserve, because the dance, the music, and the colors are very attractive, and so other parts of the Philippines take it, and because of no penetration of the meaning, because it's oral tradition, the 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 meanings of the dances were just recreated by some people who are not from the from us. So it is, yeah, it is hard, because for a while you have to re-educate your own people on what is really the story. And I believe that artists are mirrors of history, and it's through this culture and tradition that we're able to reach out the hearts, the minds, and the consciousness, and the transformation of correcting the centuries of bias into a beautiful one, rediscovery and revelation that, oh, that is my culture, actually. That is my tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And it took decades, as what Stephen, it took decades to build Kinding Sindaw, actually. And I'm very thankful that Amalia step into the plate, literally step into the plate and pushed the Indonesian culture, because then we the tradition and culture that Kinding Sindao is bringing is actually kind of verified in some way as part of that in ancestral Nusantara culture.
Right. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to be mindful of everyone's time, but I think we, got to look at different aspects of how we are able to continue all of our mission statements and all of our drive, even though there are a lot of barriers in our way currently, and even on a daily basis. All the passion that we saw from our different speakers and even poetry and the members of Kinding Sindaw is really what puts us all together to make sure that our dance and cultures and communities are still able to join. So I
Let's have a
wanted to
photo
say,
before everybody's
oh yeah,
leaving.
and also salutations. But
Before everyone's leaving, let's have a photo. What happened to mine?
oh, give me 1 second. I'm able to put everyone in one screen. So I guess one, oh wait, Poetry, you're not there.
I'm not here? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I'm here?
Yeah, you're here now. All right. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And join us on August 11. We'll have guests as Maranao scholars and Tausug scholars with us. And it will be live stream through La Mama Facebook. I just got a confirmation today from La Mama that you will be